here. So before we start the episode, I'd just like to inform you that we recorded this episode almost 4 weeks ago, so some of it might sound a bit weird and outdated, so please bear with us. Okay, here we go.
Greetings, my friend. Welcome to the secret shop.
Hello and welcome to the Secret Shop podcast. It has been a while, hasn't it, Kiwi?
It's been a long while.
Yeah, it has. At least for us. We actually haven't recorded much longer than we released. How about you, Anga? How have you spent the last couple of weeks?
I have spent them, before going on vacation, I played a lot of Dota and Aghanim. Then I went away on vacation with my family. And then I caught a cold, so now that I've been back, I've just been lying in bed feeling bad for myself, unable to even game proper games. I tried to play Dota and I just couldn't because I'm at like 50 IQ right now, so I've just been playing Spore.
That's when you know you're really sick. You're too sick for Dota.
Yeah. It was a really weird experience because I tried to play and I just had to manually do everything. Do you know what I mean? When you have to think manually about every little thing.
When you like lose your instinct and suddenly you're thinking about breathing in Dota.
I couldn't both hit creeps and look at the minimap. Like I couldn't.
And then you get focused and you're like, wait, why is it 12 minutes already?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That is too real. And I think that we can all relate because we are all back on it. Like, that's what I've noticed. I think all of us have gotten back into Dota because of the free drug that is Aghanim's Labyrinth, that it got us all hooked again. Which, by the way, is probably the best thing that Valve has released in terms of extra modes since Siltbreaker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Anga, how much time have you spent in Aghanim's Labyrinth?
I don't know. Probably not as much as you guys, because I was away with my family. I don't know, in hours. But at least, like, I don't know.
On which level are you?
I'm on Magician. Or wait, no, Sorcerer. The third one.
Right.
So I never got to go in Vegas.
I'm not even... I'm trash. And I currently don't have a stack to play it with anyway, so I'm matched up with randoms who die before the first boss.
Oh.
So my experience was playing with randoms was better than stacks.
Yeah, mine too, actually.
Yeah, it was surprising because you get matched with other people that have similar amounts of experience as you.
Oh,
everybody has to go through the learning curve, but people learn at different rates. And so, like, MMR matters a bit, but not that much for it, I don't think.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I am the problem. I am the problem.
No! In Dota, you're always allowed to say, it's not my fault, it's my team. That's always the last argument you can use.
Yeah, but you can also say, how could I have played better?
Yeah.
And not enough Dota players do that.
Yeah.
True.
No! I'm perfect.
But seriously, like, Valve has been investing a ton into Dota recently. Like, we spoke in a previous episode about how great the Battle Pass is, which Reddit doesn't seem to agree with, but when do they ever? Like, we've gotten several trailers just within a couple weeks, several comics out of it. Like,
and they all have artifact-related content.
They do.
Or Underlord stuff, like the lore is really getting fleshed out.
Yeah, they are working hard on connecting everything so the Dota players can no longer escape the larger Dotaverse. Like, just Wei, the new character who is just an anti-mage skin, the new persona. Like, I was so excited for that. Because just knowing that it's not just like the last persona, which is just Kid Invoker, most of the same lines just said by a kid, but a whole new character. Like, Anga, have you like did you dive in and look at the voice lines? Did you play around with Wei a little bit?
Yes, and I actually have a whole video about her for anyone interested to know about her lore. I went through everything.
Yeah.
Did you actually... One thing is that it's cool that there's more lore and whatever, but I feel like Wei is for the first time a new character that actually has some personality. Like, she actually has her own opinions. She like jokes about things, like meta things. She like makes fun of Anti-Mage, how he says thee, thy, and thou or whatever. And,
oh my god, she makes fun of that.
And she makes fun of like the whole meditating thing, how she can't even do it. Because she can't concentrate. Like, I can actually relate to her, and there's not that.
Say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... There was this whole like presentation screen, right, where she's just meditating. But if you wait long enough, you just find out how much of a spurk she is.
Meditation's hard, okay?
It is.
Leave her alone.
It is, but seriously. Like, just on that screen that most Dota players will never, ever see, they put so much character into, like, the facial animations. Like, I haven't seen that much effort in that since, like, the Meet the Team videos in TF2, honestly.
I actually have a theory.
Go ahead.
You know how in Artifact, Draw Ranger is basically Rihanna? Wei is basically what's her name? Rey from Star Wars. What's the actor's name?
Oh God.
Something Ridley? No.
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy
yes.
Ridley.
Daisy.
It's literally her. It's literally her fucking face. I think Valve is just, they got lazy. They just copy celebrities' faces.
I don't think that is quite accurate.
It sounds like a conspiracy theory.
It does. It definitely does. But yeah, that is probably the best new character they have released since Dark Willow.
Yeah.
I think that is fair to say.
Yeah.
Which makes me very excited for whatever the new hero is that it's being teased more and more.
Yeah.
There's actually several, like a childlike one, maybe a mind controller. It's gonna be interesting.
There's like some dog or some creature that's like super
Perhaps,
rabid.
yeah. And Invoker might be its daddy.
Like, yeah, Invoker is a father now. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's crazy. But just the quality of everything that's been coming out. Like, I was enthralled by the Aghanim's Labyrinth trailer, for example. That was some real quality right there. That's I wonder if Maxoff 2D had any hand in it, since he's been on-off helping Valve with these trailers over the last year or so. Very talented.
Do we think that there's more Dota content coming out because there's more people that have joined the team and are working on it? Or is it just like Corona timing, or that's what they're putting their focus on? Like,
I believe that after Half-Life Alyx released, which was apparently one of Valve's biggest teams ever, like apparently they had dozens of people on that game, and after that released, a lot of people have been looking for, you know, new projects, wink wink, and teams to join, and it looks like Dota 2 sucked up quite a few talented people from that group. Because a lot of people who previously worked on Half-Life Alyx have tweeted about working on the Battle Pass or Aghanim's Labyrinth in some capacity. So there was definitely some spillover from that team, which is why I am still looking forward to, for example, the upcoming Pudge Arcana and the Wind Ranger Arcana. Those are going to be interesting, and I wonder if those will come with a little trailer or maybe another comic. Those have been coming out more and more, and I couldn't be happier.
Wait, so far, it's only Wraith King that didn't get a trailer in comic. Both Anti-Mage and Clark did.
It's true. Funny,
so,
isn't it?
Then the chance is, like, would you say the chance is higher then that the Pudge Persona and Windrunner Arcana, that they're also going to get a comic? Or do you think we have used up all the comics. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think Pudge is gonna get anything. It looks too much out of the left field with the whole toy look. I don't know how they would ever bring that into the canon properly. I don't know. I guess they would have to have a little bit of a lore justification. Like, just a little bit. Like, even if it's fucking the undead tailor just making a puppet of Pudge as a gift, and then it came to life Pinocchio style. I don't know. Just something. You can't just bring out sex doll Pudge and not do anything with it.
What did you say?
Cosmetics in Dota are getting a little more ridiculous these days. I'm kind of, I'm over it.
Wait, you're over what?
I'm over the Dota cosmetics. Like, they were themed for so long, and like,
You're one of those.
Now it's like you get an aneurysm just from looking at like the starting screen when people are like, when you start the game, and then everybody has like super flashy lights everywhere.
Waist stance is too wide.
And it's always the supports that go 0-20 that have the most cosmetics. The hard carries and mids, they more often than supports don't have
like
cosmetics.
a true carry player. How would you know you've never seen a carry in your game? Because you probably only play carry.
I play some mid too. I've been playing Troll Warlord mid, and it's legit. I swear. Everybody questions me, but Troll Warlord mid is good. You gank with Troll.
I believe it.
It's good.
I do believe you.
So we're a Dota podcast now.
Pretty
well,
much.
the secret shop is in Dota too
nothing's
as
been
well.
No, but well, my question is, since we've been talking about all this investment in Dota, do you guys think that any of that will spill over to Artifact 2.0? Since that is like closely related and it's like one of the projects that's currently going on. Do you think Artifact 2.0 has been graced by some of that team spillover?
I hope so. I hope that... Oh, sorry.
I would think so, but like it's hard to know. We can't quite see behind the scenes. Like, you don't see in Dota, you don't see who's working on what in Dota either. I feel like that stuff will come secondary to the game being ready to release, and so it's not there. Yeah, but maybe that's going on in the background. Who knows?
But I think there's probably much more communication between them and like overlap, since now with the new Queen of Pain comic, not only like having Vanessa in it, but also the fact that the Queen of Pain Arcana is also in Underlords. So it feels much more now like the three games are overlapping, and I hope like the teams overlap a little bit too. That would be really cool.
I feel like whoever is in charge of lore in the universe is combining it across all platforms.
Yeah.
And it's not just like the Artifact lore team and the Dota lore team talking to each other. Like, I think they are one and the same.
Yeah, it probably is Steve Jaros and everything.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, and a lot of writers have returned to Valve, and in a way, Aghanim does remind me a lot of Merasmus in TF2. I don't know if you guys know about that crazy wizard that comes around on Halloween.
No.
TF2 is dead, guys. Give up.
I didn't hear what you said.
You don't need to. Don't worry. It wasn't for you.
Okay.
Anyways, so this is an Artifact podcast, so let us actually talk about the game that we are so dedicated to.
Oh, I have actually played some Artifact. I finally beat...
Oh, no way!
I finally
Go
beat
ahead.
the campaign one, where you devour the things.
You beat all the hunger ones?
I finally beat the one where it's 10 armor and 120 health or whatever. I still haven't beat the next one with 20 armor.
Yeah. There's like 4 or 5 of them. It's nightmarish.
There's
So
4 of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
only beat.
Yeah, I think I did the third one and I'm on the fourth one.
Nice. I only beat the first Hunger. I must admit that when I saw Hunger 2, I didn't really feel like it. I tried it a couple times and then maybe there's something else connected to it. Reward me.
I definitely beat them each first try.
Yeah.
Oh my
I do
god, are
hope-
you serious?
Oh my
Get out of
God.
here.
I wish there were
Get
harder ones because I
out!
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can beat the third one, you can beat the fourth one. It's essentially the same. You just have to do it for longer.
Yeah,
not-
that's true.
If you can
Yeah, I
apply the
think-
theory there, it's not any different.
Yeah, I think what I dislike about the hunger is just how grindy it gets.
Don't you
Because you
dare
gotta
talk shit
build
about the
up.
hunger. Careful what you say.
All right.
Because I love it. Even though
There you
I
go.
suck at it.
I'm personally hoping that they will add a few more, not achievements, that they will add more of these challenges. I think they are a nice little puzzle, a nice little extra feature that the game could definitely use more of. But
Well, we talked
that
about in the
doesn't-
past how it's possible they do it like Underlords has with the whole battle pass and puzzles.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
See it.
That would be very nice. But that doesn't seem to be the focus right now. While we didn't update our audience, Valve has been updating the player base with several patches, at least once a week, as well as an update every Monday. That has kept going. And after they were done speaking about every hero in the game and every color, they went on with items. But before we talk about the items, what did you guys think of like the hero surveys? Because now Valve has actually responded to those using the patches. For example, they recently increased the damage of some of the blue heroes just so they can actually kill 2 health creeps. What do you think about that? Because I didn't really think that they needed a buff in attack. What do you think, Anga?
Well, I feel like that's not really something I felt like was a problem for Blue, that they weren't hitting hard enough. Because that kind of goes against what Blue is meant to do. It's not meant to hit hard with its right clicks, you know? So, I don't know. I felt like, did somebody ask for that? Like, who?
I don't know. Maybe they just decided that 1 attack was completely useless and 2 attacks still doesn't make them like hard hitters or anything. Right, Kiwi?
That change seemed weird to me as well. I didn't quite know where it was coming from. It makes a bit of sense because the blue stats were very low, and so especially for newer players, it was definitely negatively impacting them to the point where they wouldn't touch blue at all, which is
Right.
weird because I feel like once you get into blue is when you start seeing the big brain stuff and enjoying the game more.
Yeah.
But in general, I feel like all the patch notes have been really good. Like a lot of the stuff, you're like, oh, that makes sense, that needed it, or others you're like, okay, that's an interesting change. And
Any examples you can think of?
like the wildkin improvement, that was it would play as 0-1 and it would make the 3-4 creeps. And they changed it to an improvement, and then initially they didn't put charges on it, and it was very broken. And now it has 3 charges on it, and just little things like that that make a lot of sense to me.
Right. I did try that out. It seemed very strong before it got nerfed.
The Venomancer changes seem strong. There's been a lot of blue buffs. Like I haven't been playing at the moment, but
did you feel like
seems
blue was
really
weak?
strong.
Because I didn't feel like blue was weak.
I didn't, but like the vast majority of the community did.
The problem, that is what the surveys, that's what I meant when I said reactions to the survey results. Because it seemed like, I remember Valve saying in their post that blue heroes were generally less exciting for people to pick. So I suppose they thought that they deserved a couple buffs across the board. I mean, the beta is like an ongoing process.
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
true.
we'll see how it will be adjusted back and forth. One change that I certainly liked is that they recently removed a lot of those blue or, color-coded limiters, where it's like this triggers when a card of this color is played, etc. They removed a couple of those triggers, making, interplay between colors a little more natural and, less restrictive.
There's
I
been
thought that
tons
was
of
pretty good.
quality of life changes.
Yes.
Or just clarity things that make a lot of sense.
Tons
And,
of card descriptions.
yeah, we haven't been in beta that long, but there's been, when you look at all the changes overall, there's been so many that somebody joining now would have a lot more welcoming of a game than we had just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
One thing I saw you say, Kiwi, I can't remember where or when you said it, but it was the item survey, and they, like, what they got from the survey was that we need more movement items or whatever. And you said something, I can't remember what you said, but you said something about that they, like, that's not necessarily what we need, more movement items or whatever. Can you elaborate on what you said?
I just felt like the questions they were asking were very broad and they weren't necessarily giving good information. And so, like, the highest rated items were, say, 4-staff phase boots and blink dagger, like the mobility items. But just because those are the highest ones doesn't mean that every item needs to be that way. Like, you want to have some boring items that are just stats, and you want to have some mobility items, and a balance of both of them is good. Asking if they're exciting doesn't necessarily mean if it's necessary.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like how exciting it is not relevant to how necessary it is always. And so some of the questions were just like there wasn't a right answer for some of them, and so I don't know if they were taking those ones with a grain of salt or what, but it just seemed like weird information. If they actually wanted information, then put a little more thought into writing questions specifically for the setting,
Right.
like for the specific items or whatever. Some of the color ones were like that too. I don't know, just a small criticism, but
yeah, I think that I would agree in the sense that movement can be very exciting in the game, especially later on when like that one block, that one positioning can be game deciding. But that is exactly why you don't want too much of it.
for sure.
And the problem is that movement can be exciting given that context. Like when it's like this high tension thing where it's like all about who gets to hit the tower in this lane first, and so on. But when you add too much movement to the game, it will feel more like chess.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of at a good point at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, me
We'll
too.
see.
What I mean by chess, there's obviously a lot of chess fans, and in fact, chess has had some sort of a renaissance on Twitch recently, where suddenly all the big Twitch streamers are trying their hand at chess, which has been both very entertaining and educational. As a former chess club nerd who was the worst in the club, so I never learned properly. So I know whenever someone asks me, I always say I know how the pieces move, and that's it. And then I just try to move them in a way that is pleasing to the eye, and then I get checkmated.
Are you a symmetry player?
I am actually, dude. It is that
Edgar
bad.
just called
It
you
is
out
that
like
bad.
that.
It is that bad. I never even try to do it competitively or go on like one of those websites where they give you a rating or anything, because I know I am below trash. But
I never got into chess because there was just so many people tried to get me to, and maybe I'd be good at it, but it's so much memorizing.
Yeah.
It's the
It's like
game of
whoever
kings.
wants to commit to memorizing more patterns.
Yeah.
That's what
Makes
it
sense.
is. Which is why I'm saying that perhaps we do not want that in Artifact. If
I
we
certainly
put
don't.
if we put too much movement in, it becomes more low impact as well. And we move back to a place where people are stalling each other, just like they used to do with free items, where they just, I move it one to the left. What do you do? Commit a card. And then they like click the 4 staff and Oh, no, it's over there. You commit a card. You use mana. Thankfully, it does cost mana now, so... But once you get into, like, the, late game, a couple of those movements wouldn't be too much of a commitment. So I hope we don't add too much of that back and forth, so it actually means something when you change the positioning of a unit.
Any of the recent changes look really strong to either of you? Like, what's...
I certainly like the Spirit Vessel change. That now gives you 2 more mana, doesn't it?
Yeah, do you think that's going to make it playable?
I would like it to. Here's the... Okay, guys. I know you hate me for this. But I still want to make, like, a gold econ deck work. So I want certain high-cost items to be game enders. And I do consider some of those items, rushable, perhaps. So that is just the fantasy to me. But something of a ramp deck, econ and mana ramp, where you, like, rush towards Spirit Vessel, perhaps, might be useful someday if I get it to work. That is the end of the thought. I am not smart when it comes to deck building.
Well,
I have a fantasy and I want to make it work. That's
so
what I do.
I have a confession. I've become a filthy econ player. Okay, so
Yes,
listen.
join
Okay,
the
hear me
dark
out.
side.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. In Dota 1, I didn't like it because it was so RNG heavy. But in Artifact 2, it's so
Artifact.
much more reliable. Like, you always go off. You always not. You know.
It's consistent. You can actually build
Yes.
a deck with a game plan. It's not around drawing...
Drawing track, getting bounty to
drawing
hit the
track
hero,
and
drawing
payday.
payday, yeah, and getting the right items. Like, now you always consistently get the items you want. You always consistently get the gold. It's just
And it
so
can
much
be
more
reasonably
reliable.
balanced. Like, Vesture and Helm have already been increased to 25 because
Yeah.
they're too strong and stuff like that.
Right.
New Clash Ream looks stupid strong to me. I haven't seen any play with it yet because
Lock
But it-
is in a weird
looks-
position currently. I wonder what they'll do with it.
No, it's not Lock.
I know, that's what
new-
I'm saying. Because it used to be like the face of Lock. And now it isn't even a Lock item anymore.
Yeah, they might
What does
just
the new
delete
one
the
do?
mechanic because it bothered people. New Clash Ream is after combat, bounce the hero, and it has an active bounce the unit blocking equipped hero.
Huh.
But it doesn't.
that sounds
But it
strong.
doesn't give any stats, so it's kind of like a slower mobility item.
How much is it?
10.
Oh, that's really strong.
It sounds
It
really
is.
strong to me.
I mean, it's basically... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is basically a quick deployment.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
With
but you don't have
And
to
so
die.
you can... What?
You don't have to die to redeploy. You literally redeploy every
Exactly.
round, and you get to bounce the hero in front of
But
it.
only if you don't die, and it
Yeah,
doesn't
but you're
give you
very
health.
likely to survive since you bounce what's in front of it.
Yeah. It's basically a quick redeploy as long as that hero doesn't get killed. So if you put it on a hero that actually has quick redeployment, literally never gone. Does that even make
Well,
sense?
it already
Okay,
does
you
that.
kind of double up. Okay,
That doesn't sound very good, Simon.
doesn't sound good, I know.
Rapid deploy already does that. But nice synergy with Demolishing Warhammer, or I'm sure there'll be some cancer constructed lists with it.
Oh yeah, like anything with Siege. I actually recently won a game with freaking Siege Catapult with Scheme.
Oh,
where it gets
really?
where it gets more siege with every time you pass. I kind of blew my load on like a big spell, and it was like a very late game turn. So I automatically was passing for the rest of that turn, and the other player was like trying desperately to keep my heroes from attacking the tower, and totally forgot about that little catapult that could. That suddenly got, I think, like it got like 8 to 10 like straight siege damage or something crazy like that. Like, and I don't think that person understood where the damage was coming from, because he kept trying to like kill and block my heroes. And then it was too late. It was too late. Carty got him.
Got him.
Fucking got him. So, have you guys been satisfied with the beta progress? With how Valve has been handling these patches and the surveys and so on?
I think they need more people.
Yeah. But that's hard to do right now before they release it and have some actual concrete interest, I guess.
Right. In the community, there is definitely a certain long haul 2.0 sense right now, where people seem to be waiting on something. A lot of people are just waiting for their invite, while other people who have had their invites for about a month are now waiting for the next thing, whatever that may be. Some people are still waiting for invites. Other people are basically saying, oh, I don't think I'm the kind of tester who wants to like join the beta at the current time. Because some people really bounce off the game because it's not polished yet and because of the temp art and so on. There's a lot of people who bounce off. There is. So some people are waiting for the polished phase of the beta, and then there's a sense that keeps popping up that people are waiting for the first big update. And I personally don't think that we are anywhere near that kind of update schedule yet, where we are like waiting for a big feature update or anything.
Yeah, it seems like a slow and steady thing at the moment.
Yeah.
How many people do you think are actually in? Like, I have, I don't know, 50 Steam friends or something that are in, and only one person's still waiting for it. Poor Rami's the only person still not in that I know. As of last week, like my last few friends got in last week.
Wow,
but I feel like probably more than half of the community is in now, right?
Really?
Then why is it so hard to find a fucking game now?
Community?
I don't know.
It's impossible to find a constructed game.
Or maybe just like half of people that want to be in. Yeah, I don't know. It's in an interesting place at the moment.
Right. So when you say half the community, you mean more like half of the active Redditors on the sub.
Yeah, I feel like half of people that want to be in are in. Maybe a little more. But so another thing that you didn't mention was that there isn't constructed matchmaking ladder.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Why not?
From running all the long haul leagues and stuff, it was very clear that there's about a 50-50 split of people that feel very strongly about draft or about constructed. And we don't have constructed at the moment. Yeah. So that is half the player base does not have their game mode in, and those people very much are against draft, whereas draft players are a little bit more like, I could play constructed maybe, you know.
And it's very hard to actually find games in constructed. You gotta, at least for me, you gotta log on at certain times to find those people.
For sure, but part of that is that there isn't matchmaking for it. So, like,
only challenge.
I went through this myself. You have no basis for the strength of your opponent or the strength of your deck. And so you can't tell if your deck is good, you can't tell if your deck is bad, and you also can't tell if you played well. Yeah. And so there's no learning going on, and you're not getting any information back. So I think very much so the most important thing they put next is constructed matchmaking ladder. And I think that is significant for people. And I think after that, I think we can wait on an actual draft mode a little bit, because hero draft is okay. But having tournament set up in the client so that we can start building community again. Having, like, it's been really weird that we went from having leagues that were playing tournaments on a daily or at least a weekly basis and then the beta got announced, and now we don't have that at all. And so the community is actually fragmented further, which is really odd because we're actually closer to having Artifact again. And so I think it's really important to have the opportunity for us to make community tournaments. And then somebody, like, even if it's once a week or whatever, then you just come play, you see the names, there's people on Twitch, you stream it. Like, I think that's important. And maybe that doesn't need to be right away if we don't feel like the game is there yet. But for the game to have success, I think that is something that needs to happen soon.
Well,
or
you
needs
might
to happen
actually,
before then.
Yeah, and you might actually get your wish, because that is exactly what Valve is currently asking for in their latest survey, at least at the time of recording. They are asking us which mode should be implemented next, which is very exciting. I mean, to me, that is the next big thing. And my personal vote was, I'm sorry, but my personal vote was on Constructed.
Me too.
Because
I said specifically
Constructed
needs to be
but
first.
your focus was more on like the tournament side of things.
No,
and
that
like
needs
the
to happen
tournament
second.
structure. All right.
We need Constructed first because half the people are left out.
Yeah.
But both are important for sure.
Yeah. So, Anger, what was your vote on that survey? Like,
Constructed.
there was draft.
Constructed.
There you go. I guess we're all on Constructed then, because I agree. I think that Constructed is the most effective when it comes to actually testing the game, testing synergies, when you are actually trying to optimize a deck for a certain game plan. And then you can actually see which, it's not just about balance, but the sooner we start with balance, I feel, the better. Because you don't want to get in a place where we're finally opening up the beta at some point and then we're thinking about balance, because that's when most people will bail already. What do you think, Anger?
Yeah. I'm just mad that I can't fucking find a game. Like, I want to play Constructed. I just want a way to consistently find a match.
Yeah.
And because, like, Hero Draft, it was fun while learning, but no offense to draft players, but, like, I feel like after a while, it got kind of boring once you know all the cards, like, not being able to build your own deck, like, knowing what's in there. Even in Draft in Artifact 1, you could decide what cards you want after drafting them.
Yeah.
Even the draft players feel the same way. Like, we want to be able to build our decks.
Yeah. But to be fair, Hero Draft basically is great for what it does and is meant to be, because it is meant to be the mode that helps people learn the game.
Yeah, and it's amazing at that.
It's really well done. I really like it.
It's really good at that.
For what it is. It is.
But now we're in a place where most people who are in the beta have been through it. They've played the campaign. They have played and unlocked their cards with a Hero Draft, and now they're waiting to sink their teeth into something a little meatier than that. And I must say that the idea of a more in-depth Hero Draft, which is something they were also offering, does sound intriguing to me. That would be interesting as like the second step for new players, but personally, definitely like Constructed tournament mode, and then proper draft. That is my personal hierarchy.
The tournament. I don't know why words are hard.
Structure.
The tournament client, like that was in Artifact 1, is already almost perfect.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing it really needs is spectator delay. But so I feel like it shouldn't be that hard for them to implement it unless the client is very different.
Right.
I don't know enough things about programming. But you struggling to find a game isn't necessarily, it doesn't mean that people don't want to play. It just means people don't want to play like that. Like, people want to play in a challenging format where they can test their decks.
Yeah.
And make progress. And so I think when they get the ladder going, there'll be some renewed interest.
Definitely. And it's not just about testing decks, it's about testing the game and actually stretching it to its very limits.
And showing off your ego.
what would you like to try out once you really get into constructed anger? Like, what are your meme decks so far? Give us a little bit.
Right now I'm in love with mono black. I just, every time I try
Ooh.
something different than black, I just miss black. Once you go black, you never go back.
Yeah.
I have a very big black deck, just saying.
Nice.
But what I want to do is make a good card reveal deck with Vanessa and Pierpont and Imperia. Does she have? Yeah. Like I want to have a deck that does that and is actually good, because I remember once I was actually beat really hard by a deck like that, and it was so good, and I don't think they even high rolled me. I think the deck was just really good. So I want to recreate something like that.
All the little changes that those heroes have received, I think they're viable now, and there's so many interesting different
and that's
ways
the thing.
you can...
Now that blue is buffed, it's actually maybe doable.
But that's only like one aspect of blue. How many blue heroes are there? Like 12 or 15? And I feel like all of them are viable in different archetypes, which is really cool, right? We don't have we don't have the 6 playable blue heroes and all the others are shit. We actually have a variety of different deck archetypes, even within one color.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that?
And once again, they have been trying not just to make heroes viable, but to make them fun
and interesting.
Exactly. For example, I actually thought at first I was very underwhelmed with what they did to Centaur, because he just got a passive that doesn't allow you to change his stats except for damage, and I'm like, this doesn't sound that strong. But then I realized that it actually synergizes with his signature card, because he doesn't actually get debuffed by it anymore.
Yep.
He just gets the damage, and he just gets the extra damage and doesn't get the negative armor.
Every change is small, but how it affects everything else, like, it snowballs a little bit, and it's kind of really cool. The things that they're coming up with, like, I wouldn't have thought of ideas like that, and they're really creative solutions.
And I do like that Pierpont and Imperia get this kind of niche damage strat that you can get going with your card reveals, where their damage is being buffed by the revealed cards. So you get the knowledge and you get the damage. And that is definitely, for me, also a thing that I want to make work, because it was one of those weak but interesting mechanics that 2.0 introduced. Just like Devour. Devour is so fun to look at, especially with what's that mass called? What's the adjective that the Ravenous Mass? Yeah.
Ravenous Mass with rapid deployment heroes.
Yeah, and how it can just keep
strong.
eating.
Yeah.
It can just keep eating. I really love
or
that.
It can simply just be an initiative card, or you can do
it's
so
so
many
good.
weird things with it.
I actually saw a couple impressive initiative combos recently, where somebody managed to chain 3 or 4 cards together in one turn, and completely screwed me out of a whole turn in one of the lanes.
Were they blue?
I think that was actually red. Like red-blue. Because there's this 2 damage, I think it's a spear. Gives you 2 damage and initiation.
Right.
Yeah. Put 2 of those on Axe, and then allowed Axe to clear the board with his Berserker's Call. Buffed him just enough, and I buffed him twice and executed the ability without me being able to do anything. Very, very. It's a small one, but I thought that was very nice.
Yeah.
One of the small things they mentioned in one of the recent posts was that about how they get new information from every new wave of players that comes in.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really considered that. Like, I sort of just assumed, everybody will have complained about all the things that need complaining about, and new people won't be able to contribute. But I guess each wave that comes in is still contributing their own thoughts, and so you see consistency in some parts, or or things that still need to be changed. And I don't know. I just like the thought of that. That was cool.
Yeah. It really showed how important it is that they keep the new invites just on a trickle rather than like huge waves.
Makes a lot of sense.
Because like otherwise things become an echo chamber much quicker. This way they actually get like a constant stream of new input. I hadn't thought of that either. It's very interesting that way. Has there anything particularly impressive to you, Anger, about what you've seen in Constructed or in Hero Drafts? Is there any like favorite change that you have?
I have not been keeping up with the changes the last like 2 weeks. But I like that they're doing changes.
Yeah.
That they are like go
amazing. We're gonna cut all of this. Amazing. Keep going. I'm sorry.
That they are like actually like listening to feedback and like over time like doing small changes, because like you said, now that we have said why extra damage to blue, like maybe they can change it back, you know, and like the whole game can just continue to evolve with us along the way.
They're not afraid to try things.
Yeah.
Like they'll try it and they're like, okay, we'll see how it goes and we'll adjust it if we need to.
And I think because in Underlords, I remember when they put in the prison system or jail or whatever, everybody hated that, and then they removed it. Like, so they have shown that they can like
I actually
remove
liked
things
it
they
a
had.
lot. I liked it a lot, and I think it only needed a couple adjustments. Yeah, I think it actually kept the game fresh. Come at
No,
me.
it didn't.
I didn't play it, but it made a lot of sense to me. I wish that was more of a thing. I kind of wish they do that in Dota, in like matchmaking would be interesting.
Yeah.
To have like cycles, and so you'd have your meta shift with the random cycles of what was playable.
Yeah.
Like you could do that. You could do that in Artifact. You could do that in any game where you just have the meta shift with things. Like I'm not saying it's necessarily good in something like Artifact where every card is balanced together, but having it's like random draft. I wish random draft was more popular. Like I played like 200 games with it queued and had one random draft game because nobody queues for it. But it just, if you have different tools available, then there'll be a different meta and different play styles, and I like that.
I think the jail system is much better in theory than it is in practice, because what's ended up happening was that I didn't play casually anymore. Like, I just thought, oh, I would love to play some Underlords right now. Then I click into the game and I realize I will have to analyze the fucking jail system. So I just didn't, because Underlords is a very casual game.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I think in Dota 2 as well, I don't play every day. I don't keep up with the meta shifting every day. Like, I've read the latest patch, but I'm not up to date with the super meta right now. I just like to log onto Dota and play a game, and like just learning the few little patch changes, but not like an entire jail system and a super meta within the meta. You know,
but that's the thing about Dota. You can play off meta heroes, and every hero is viable.
Yeah, just ignore it and commit yourself to being.
You couldn't do that in Underlords.
It was
though.
Nice coming back after not playing for a long time, and people are like, what's this hero you're playing? And I'm like, is this not a hero at the moment? Little did I know. And you just like come across strong stuff that people don't play because they're just copying the 20 heroes in the pro meta.
I don't know, man. I think it scares away the casual player, because it's not necessarily as stressful as you think, but it's just gonna be something you have to consider when logging into the game. Oh fuck, I have to analyze the fucking jail.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I think that offering depth is more encouraging and not the opposite. Like, it's fine for casuals to be like, oh, there's this whole thing, I don't understand it yet, I'm just gonna learn the game right now. And when when they've learned and maybe they want to take the next step, then they can look at those advanced mechanics and see how they actually affect the game. Perhaps the jail system was a little bit too upfront about it, where it's like, oh, we're not playing this one today. We're not playing that one today. Don't, just pick something else. this
Yeah.
comp is dead today, and so are you.
Maybe your standards are too high for your self-anger, and so you put too much pressure on yourself to be like good.
Yeah, that is why she decides to be the carry in Dota and won't let anybody else do it. She would be like, are you like that ultra toxic support when you do support who's like shouting at your carry?
No,
for
she's the
losing
sniper
CS?
support.
No, I'm actually the AFK position 6, just like Crystal Maiden or something, just jungle. Or like
I'm
silencer,
helping.
where I
my
can.
aura. I'm
Oh
helping.
yeah, I'll support you as silencer, and then secretly I'll carry.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
As expected of Anger Summer. Fantastic. In that case, is there anything that you guys are looking forward to the most? Like, is it just the next mode, whatever that is? Or are you looking forward to your favorite hero being buffed? Anger, what are you looking forward to the
Dota?
most? No, an artifact. It is an artifact podcast.
Yeah, but you said what hero I wanted to be buffed.
Artifact.
I know.
podcast.
This is Dotaverse.
For artifacts, I just want constructed matchmaking. I want to play versus people, and I want them to be around my skill level, and I want to see, like Kiwi said, I want to be able to actually learn and get better.
I would enjoy that. I'd be. I've been taking a bit of a break myself too, but I would play some constructed ladder, and I'm looking forward to some more community. I don't know. It feels weird that it's a bit fragmented at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I played an
It's definitely
Artifact 1 tournament last week, and it was just nice to see people again and to play.
Yeah.
But
very cool.
like, definitely an inferior game, and you forget how much. So
I know. Once you really get used to 2.0, it is really hard to go back. Which is why I'm always surprised when I see certain posts that say that the previous version was like objectively, because I really feel like they haven't played enough of. But that is the elitist mindset. I'm doing it again, guys.
No, you're not. I don't think it's unreasonable for you to say, I don't think they've played enough to have this opinion. Their opinion is fine, it may exist, but they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm not afraid.
Yeah. Personally, if there's one change that I do not agree with, it's that blink scrolls are now only awarded when the tower is gone, like dead. Because I don't like what it did to the pacing of the game. I feel like that has just moved into win more territory, where now you have destroyed that tower and now you get the blink scroll to just leave that lane and go into the other one to win easier. Again, because you see the blink scroll of your opponent and you know what's coming, you can counterplay it. There have definitely been a couple times where I managed to, as the one who's behind, change focus because I knew that a certain lane would now be abandoned. So perhaps I have to play a little more to really assess what the blink scrolls are like now. But right now, I think I preferred it when it was at the halfway point, as arbitrary as that was for some people.
I'm with you on that. I think some of the higher level constructed players like the current way a lot more, and I can see that. But personally, I haven't had the platform to test that. So
Yeah.
I liked it with more. But whatever.
Yeah. All right then. As we put our foot out the door, Anger, you've been uploading very consistently recently, haven't you?
Except the last 2 weeks, because I've been away with family, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been
What's your
posting...
recent catalog?
Recently, I've been posting lore videos about the new expansions of the Dota lore in Dota 2. So, Way, the Anti-Mage Persona, Wraith King, Queen of Pain, all of that new stuff.
Have you talked about Aghanim yet?
I have not. Yet.
Wow.
Because
get it
he's
together.
There's Aghanim, and there's also, funny that you should mention earlier, the new Unknown Heroes, because I am working on a video about those. And I'm also I used to have a series on my channel where I did like voiceover of all the comics, but then because it wasn't very serious, and in some parts it was in Russian, like I couldn't find a version where it was all English, so I had to like guess what they were saying. So I removed all of that from my channel, and I'm redoing that now, much better quality.
Nice.
You can find
Looking
that at
forward to that.
youtube.com/angrimania.
Very cool. And Kiwi, where can people find your content once you get back to it?
They can't find my content currently because I don't exist. But in theory, I'll be streaming at Kiwi_streaming on Twitch.
Wonderful. And if you guys want, subpar commentary on anything that Valve does, as well as some other nonsense, you can follow me on Twitter at Cymen90. I mean, at the very least, I did predict that Aghanim would be the summer event. Did you guys remember?
Oh yeah,
that?
you
I
did.
I did call that. I did call that.
And you can find our producer, Mega Rami, on Twitter.
I hope you get into the beta soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Is she
Pray.
really the only one left?
She's the only one on my Steam list.
The only one.
Many.
So, dear viewers, send a prayer for our producer, Mega Rami. Papa bless.
Peace.
Bless RNG.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you for your business. Come again!